why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship.
Yeah. Think about him apologizing to like his mom and Tony Rock. I feel like shows sincerity. I do take into account that he's an actor, right? He is an actor. He's a trained actor, probably the best actor in the world, arguably, right? But just because somebody's an actor, you don't want to strip away that humanity. So, give grace, right? If if you see fit, obviously. But I'm gonna give grace on the fact that this is a real apology because he factored in Chris Rock's mom. He factored in Chris Rock's mom. He also factored in Tony Rock and like specifically took accountability for how his actions impacted them. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is a genuine apology. Go ahead, continue.
Tony Rock was my man, and this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults.
So right there, like he definitely zeroed in on the fact that he don't believe that there was any possible reason why walking on stage and slapping this man was a good idea. He could have had more. He could have gave himself a little more rope in that, but he didn't. He he took 100% accountability for what he did. I mean, it seemed like a genuine apology because he's been very specific, very intentional about his words. However, he did say any feelings of disrespect or insults that he might have felt. One would say that he used those just to be like there was a reason for why I did it, or one could say he was just explaining the situation. But so far, I do feel as though he wished that he probably would have handled that in a better way.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on
So
Questlove.
he been very, very specific. I like the fact that he been very specific because people that give half apologies, they hate specificity. They specificity. Y'all know the word. They hate being specific because that brings to light the stuff they're trying to cover up with vagueness, right? So he's been very, very specific. I saw the look in Questlove eyes. My wife, did she when she rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? He said sorry, baby, and his mom, his family, his loved ones, his kids, they took a lot of heat, and I mean, I'm no famous, actor or nothing like that, but I think everybody in this household is pretty famous. So I'm pretty sure those tweets was going crazy, and those those messages. So I like him. I like that he's being specific and pointing out the hurting people. Like I said, people that are genuine are not usually genuine in apologizing are usually specific. People that are not genuine are usually vague. They just want to get the apology over with. They don't, it'll be vague. But he's been very specific.
Love's award, and you know, it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me.
Wow. So letting people down is his central psychological and emotional trauma. That's deep because when he saw because initially he laughed at the joke, then he saw his wife roll her eyes. In that moment, he mentally had a decision to make. Do I let this slide and potentially let her down, and thus experience the trauma that I've always experienced, the psychological trauma that I've always experienced, and I read the book. So the psychological trauma that he experienced since childhood is some really crazy stuff that happened in his childhood. That I can see how that situation could have been a trigger for him. Not giving no excuses, there's no excuse for putting your hand on another grown man. But I understand how his history led up to that point. But when he say that's his central trauma is letting people down, I can see that 100% just based off when I did the research of reading his book. When I watched the slap, excuse me, and everything that he talked about in interviews. He always said. He said things like this. So yeah, that was a good point. that he actually presented right there.
And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, you know, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
That was the most Will Smith apology I could ever like, and I say I don't say that to say like it wasn't genuine. I think it was really genuine. I think it was from the heart. And be for real, like I look up to Will Smith. Like I grew up Fresh Prince. I grew up parents just don't understand. Well, not parents just don't understand. That was a little earlier, but I grew up Man in Black and all of that stuff. So I I understand it. But the thing I think we as people got to understand, like humanity is weird, yo. This stuff is not normal. It's like we try to put a system in place for things and people, and then once they go off course to that, go off course to the system, we we cancel and we demonize. Um, we throw them in the trash can. I think that we have to allow people grace. We have to allow people um, opportunity. I'm not saying like keep putting up with the same old from people, but what I am saying is that we choose to demonize someone, or we choose to not um, see another person's perspective. We choose to we sever a bridge, and severing a bridge is okay sometimes, but we need to really be intentional and careful that we're not severing the bridge out of emotion, out of quick 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 thoughts. We really want to think it through. um like at the end when he said his he's ready to put joy and light back into the world, and he think we'll be friends again. um I thought that was interesting. I thought that was the most. That's what I meant when I say that's the most Will Smith response to the most Will Smith apology response that I could I could probably think of. Like I would probably think of Will Smith apologizing, and it didn't sound exactly like that. He even hit the famous, that's how I can tell it was real because he hit that, you know, but yeah, I think it was a genuine apology. I think it's up to Chris Rock if he wants to accept it or choose to accept it. If he if he if he don't, he's a man. He's a grown man, and he can do that. If he do, he's a grown man and he can do that, and he's not right or wrong. But I think from a humanity perspective, we need to maybe not put our childhood heroes on these pedestals, on these great, great, big old pedestals. Like a lot of times, people look at that like they look at our childhood heroes like LeBron. No, no, no. Like God, and then like LeBron, and then like whoa, 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 whoa. Like they're not that close. So I think we need to really maybe reevaluate how we look at these people. Like if these are two, like I've seen people fight at the basketball court. If these are two old heads at a basketball court and want to slap one another, I mean, it's gonna make a weekend. I'm be like, bro, do you see that old man, that 55-year old slap the other 55-year old? Like, okay, yeah, he hit him pretty good, but next day, right? I still go to work Monday. Um, so, and I get it. These are icons, but at the same time, I think we might put a little bit too much on that. We might put a little bit too much sauce, a little bit too much seasoning on comedians, actors, stars. I don't say that to be like, don't watch them. They're not good. Blah 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 blah. None. There's no shade to them. I just say that to say that they are human, and we can't hold them to a godly pedestal. It's Rudy Winslow. I'm out. Peace.